Cristiano Ronaldo is chasing the impossible. 1,000 career goals. Right now, he's sitting at around 940.
He lets fly. Oh, what about that? Well, he missed a penalty.
And even at 40 years old, he's not slowing down. But as Ronaldo races toward that mythical milestone, there's one man quietly loading his own numbers at terrifying speed. A 25-year-old goal machine who's rewriting the rules of scoring. The only player who looks like he could actually catch Ronaldo, Erling Haaland. But how and why would he catch up to Ronaldo? Well, let's talk about it. Cristiano Ronaldo isn't just chasing records anymore, he's chasing immortality. Right now, he's sitting on around 940 career goals, and his biggest dream before he hangs up his boots is to reach that impossible mark, 1,000 goals. And honestly, if there's anyone who believes it's possible, it's him. Even at 40 years old, he still feels he has the energy, the drive, and the hunger to keep going. He's scoring for Al Nassr, still leading Portugal, and still breaking records. He recently became the joint top scorer in World Cup qualifying history, and this season alone, he's already got 5 goals in 6 matches. Most players his age are long retired, maybe doing punditry or managing somewhere. But Ronaldo's mentality is different. He just doesn't know how to stop. People close to him keep telling him he's done everything there is to do, but he still feels like there's more to give. He knows his time is running out, but he's determined to squeeze every last bit out of these final years. That's what makes Ronaldo so rare. He's already achieved what 99% of players could only dream of, but he's still waking up every day, chasing goals, records, and perfection. He's not satisfied with being one of the greatest, he wants to be untouchable. But here's where things get interesting, because while Ronaldo is pushing toward 1,000, there's someone much younger who's closing in at an unbelievable pace. A player who's scoring goals like it's a daily routine, and at just 25 years old, his numbers already look frightening. That player is Erling Haaland, and if anyone looks built to challenge Ronaldo's 1,000 goal dream, it's him. Now, let's talk about the guy who looks like he was built in a lab to score goals, Erling Haaland. At just 25 years old, Haaland is already putting up numbers that don't look real. He has 22 career hat-tricks, and what's wild is that 11 of those have come since he joined Manchester City. That means half of his hat-tricks came at the very top level in one of the toughest leagues in the world. He's played around 250 games in all competitions and averages a hat-trick every 11.4 matches. To put that in perspective, even Ronaldo and Messi didn't come close to that rate early in their careers. Haaland is rewriting how fast a striker can hit elite numbers, and it's not luck, it's how he plays. He doesn't waste time on unnecessary dribbles or step-overs, he focuses on positioning, timing, and efficiency. Every movement he makes inside the box has a purpose. He's always in the right place when the ball drops, and once he's there, it's almost guaranteed to end in a goal. He doesn't need 10 chances, sometimes one touch is all it takes. Haaland is also one of those strikers who knows how to adapt. If you block his right foot, he'll find the space on the left. If you defend deep, he'll use his strength and movement to create room. His finishing is cold, clinical, and consistent, the kind of finishing that reminds you of prime Ronaldo. And that's the scary part, he's still improving. He's still learning, and he's doing all of this at just 25. If you look at the numbers, at the same age, Ronaldo was somewhere between 120 and 180 goals. Haaland already has over 319 goals in 382 games. That's almost double Ronaldo's total at that age. The rate he's going, if he stays fit and consistent, he could reach 500 goals before turning 30. That kind of pace is unheard of. It's the reason people are starting to see him not just as a great striker, but as the only real threat to Ronaldo's 1,000 goal dream. But what really takes Haaland to another level isn't just its finishing, it's the system he's playing in. But before we talk about that, please hit the subscribe button. Under Pep Guardiola, he's found the perfect environment to score as much as he wants. One of the biggest reasons Haaland is scoring at this level is Pep Guardiola. Playing under Pep is like having a cheat code for goals. The entire system is designed to create the perfect conditions for a striker like Haaland to thrive. Pep's football philosophy has always been about control, precision and efficiency, but at City, he's taken it to another level. Every pass, every run, every movement is built around creating high-quality chances inside the box. And who's waiting in the box almost every single time? Erling Haaland. Guardiola's setup makes Haaland the focal point of the attack. When City move forward, everything flows toward him. He's got creators like Phil Foden, Jeremy Doku and Ryan Cherki, all capable of finding him in space and slipping a pass through defensive lines. Even when City don't look at their best, they still create enough chances for Haaland to score 2 or 3 goals a game. Last season proved it. City had moments when they didn't look as sharp, but Haaland still finished with 34 goals and 5 assists in the Premier League. That's not normal. That's what happened when the system works for you. And when the system is built by Pep Guardiola, it's even more powerful. Pep has simplified Haaland's job. He doesn't need to drop deep, he doesn't need to link play, he just needs to be where the ball will end up. That's why he's always one step ahead of defenders. The team does the build-up, Haaland does the finishing. And with City's level of dominance, you can see how this could go for years. As long as Pep is there, Haaland will keep getting service from world-class creators who make his job look easy. If he keeps producing 50-goal seasons under Guardiola's system, that 1,000-goal chase becomes a real possibility. But there's more to it than just tactics. The modern game itself has changed, and everything about football today makes it easier for attackers to score more than ever before. One thing that gives Haaland a massive edge over past generations is the era he's playing in. Modern football is built for attackers. Everything from the rules to the scheduling favors players who know how to finish. Take added time, for example. Games now regularly go on for 100 minutes or more, especially with new timekeeping rules. That's an extra 10 minutes every match, more time to find one more goal. For a player like Haaland, that's a huge boost. Then there's VAR. Years ago, strikers lost goals because of missed penalties or offside errors. Now, everything is checked. Every tug in the box, every foul at a corner, those moments that used to be ignored are now potential penalties. And who usually takes penalties for Man City? Haaland. Those small margins add up fast over a long career. Defending has also changed. The game is faster, but it's less physical than it used to be. In Ronaldo's early years, defenders could get away with tackles that would be red cards today. Now, attackers have more protection. It's harder for defenders to rough up strikers or close them down aggressively. For someone like Haaland, who thrives in tight spaces and relies on his strength, that freedom gives him more opportunities to score. And we can't ignore the advances in sports science. Players are lasting longer, recovering faster, and maintaining peak fitness into their late 30s. Ronaldo is the perfect example, still scoring at 39, still sharp, still explosive. If Haaland follows that same path, with the kind of technology and nutrition available now, he could easily play at a high level for 15 more years. So imagine this. If Ronaldo can reach 940 goals in the old, tougher, more physical version of football, what happens when Haaland spends his entire career in a football era designed for attackers? Exactly. The modern game gives him every advantage to chase that 1,000-goal milestone. And it doesn't stop there, because the number of competitions and matches has grown too. That means even more chances for him to find the back of the net. Another big factor that could help Haaland catch Ronaldo's record is the sheer number of games modern players get to play. Football today has expanded in every direction. More tournaments, longer seasons, and new competitions that didn't even exist when Ronaldo started. Take the Champions League, for example. The new format means more matches, especially in the early rounds, and often against weaker opposition. That's a perfect environment for a striker like Haaland. Extra fixtures, more minutes, and more chances to score. Then there's the Club World Cup, which is about to become much bigger, with more teams and games every few years. Add that to the Domestic League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, international qualifiers, Nations League, and potential Euros or World Cups, and suddenly a top player can be playing 60 to 70 games a season. For a consistent goalscorer, that's massive. Even if Haaland averaged just 0.8 goals per game across all competitions, which is more than realistic for him, that's about 50 goals a year. Keep that up for 15 seasons and you're already talking about 750 goals without even counting his current total. This is one of the biggest advantages Haaland has over Ronaldo. Ronaldo's early years were spent in a time when seasons were shorter and there were fewer high-level competitions. Haaland's generation will have double the opportunities to build up career stats. The football calendar has basically turned into a scoring factory for elite forwards. So between the new formats, the extra fixtures and the global expansion of club football, Haaland has more paths to reach that 1,000 goal milestone than anyone before him. But all that opportunity only matters if you can physically sustain it. And that's where Haaland has another big edge: how he takes care of his body. People focus on his goals, his power and his pace, but behind all that is discipline, real discipline. It's no coincidence that Ronaldo is still performing at 40. He's obsessed with recovery, nutrition and consistency. He's made his body his most valuable asset, and that's what's allowed him to stay at the top for 2 decades. And what's interesting is, Haaland is doing the exact same thing, just earlier in his career. Haaland's lifestyle is built around performance. He eats clean, prioritizes sleep, and follows a strict recovery plan. He avoids junk food,
not for me,
focuses on hydration, and times his meals for energy and recovery. It sounds simple, but most players don't maintain that level of control off the pitch, and that's where Haaland separates himself. He also trains with a very specific focus: short, explosive sessions designed for his style of play. He knows he doesn't need to run for 90 minutes non-stop. He needs to be sharp and lethal in key moments. That kind of tailored approach helps prevent injuries and keep his body in perfect condition for what he does best: finishing. At this rate, Haaland could easily extend his career into his late 30s, maybe even 40s, just like Ronaldo. And if he maintains this standard of discipline, his numbers will keep rising year after year. Because when you combine talent, consistency, and body maintenance, you don't just have a great player, you have longevity. And longevity is exactly what separates a great scorer from a record-breaking one. But even with all that, there's still one challenge Haaland might not be able to fully control: the team he represents on the international stage. Because unlike Ronaldo, he doesn't play for a football powerhouse. If there's one thing that truly separates Erling Haaland from most strikers, it's his mentality. He's not just hungry for goals, he's obsessed with improvement. Every missed chance, every quiet game fuels him. You can see it in how he reacts. There's no frustration for show, no unnecessary emotion. Just quiet focus, like a machine recalibrating for the next strike. What's fascinating is that his mindset mirrors Cristiano Ronaldo's own rise. When Ronaldo was Haaland's age, he was already famous for his ruthless drive, arriving early for training, staying late, studying every part of his game. Haaland's cut from the same cloth. He studies his movements, reviews footage, and adjusts his runs constantly to be one step ahead of defenders. Even off the pitch, he lives like a player designed for longevity. Strict sleep schedules, focused nutrition, and almost no distractions. His routine is built to keep him firing for years. It's not about short-term success, it's about sustaining dominance. And you can tell he's not satisfied yet. Even after breaking Premier League records and scoring hat-tricks like his routine, he talks about becoming more efficient, about improving his link-up play, his headers, his left foot, the kind of mindset only the greats have. That mentality is why people believe he might actually chase down Ronaldo's 1,000-goal dream. Talent and athleticism can fade, but mentality? That's what keeps you at the top for decades. And as Haaland continues to evolve mentally, there's one other thing that makes this chase even more realistic: his physical reliance. One of the biggest reasons Haaland is a real threat to Ronaldo's goal record is his body. He's not just tall and fast, he's built for endurance. At 6'4", with explosive acceleration and incredible balance, he combines strength and speed in a way that's rare even among elite players. But what really stands out is how well he maintains his body. Ronaldo's longevity didn't happen by accident. He treated his body like a project, constantly refining it to adapt as he aged. Haaland seems to have adopted that same discipline early on. His diet, recovery, and training routines are designed for sustainability. He follows a strict nutritional plan focused on lean proteins and natural foods, avoids alcohol, and takes recovery seriously, things most players only prioritize later in their careers. Injuries are the biggest threat to longevity, and since joining Man City, Haaland has shown remarkable resilience. Yes, he's had some minor issues, but he recovers quickly, rarely loses rhythm. His medical and fitness team at City, one of the best in the world, monitor every detail of his workload, ensuring he never burns out. Physically, he's entering that stage where his body and experience are syncing perfectly. He's strong enough to handle defenders, fast enough to stretch lines, and sharp enough to take chances under pressure. That combination means he doesn't need to rely solely on pace. Even when his speed declines years from now, his movement and timing will keep him effective, just like Ronaldo adapted over time. If Haaland keeps this level of conditioning and avoids major injuries, there's no reason he can't play into his mid to late 30s at a top level. That's at least another decade of elite football, and potentially hundreds of goals still to come. But of course, staying fit isn't just about the physical side. There's also the system around him, the clubs, the teammates and the managers who help make those goals possible. When you look at it all together, it's clear why Haaland is such a serious threat to Ronaldo's 1,000-goal legacy. He's got every ingredient you'd need: a frightening scoring rate, a long runway ahead of him, a body built for longevity, and a mentality that refuses to settle. But what do you think? Can he beat Ronaldo's goal of 1,000-goal record? Well, let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.